Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I have 3 replays for you in the tier 9 premium heavy tank, the Felice, which is the level 100 season pass reward tank. So before I run into the replays, I'll just show the equipment that I run on this tank. So I've got gun rammer, vert stabs and vents on this tank, and on the perks coming up we've got born leader, rapid reload, Sixth Sense, Snapshot, Steady Aim, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanic, Off-Road Driving, and Run and Gun. So yeah, the Felice, this season's level 100 reward tank, and yeah, overall not as bad as what I was expecting it to be. Looking at it on paper, I don't know, I just had kind of visions of a slow, kind of almost similar to like the STI, the tier 9 tech tree Russian heavy tank. I don't know, just kind of had sort of similarities with that. It's just going to be slow and painful. But in actual fact, the mobility on this thing isn't that bad. You've got some nice whole traverse speed, which is quite rare for a heavy tank. You've got top forward speed of 45 kilometers per hour, which is not bad for a heavy tank, to be fair. That's more on sort of the top side more on the top side of a good top speed. You've got a high alpha gun that does 480 per shot. You've got great turret armor on this thing. You've got 8 degrees of gun depression, and you've got a nice loadout of APCR and heat shells, and the shell velocity in the APCR is quite nice. I think it's just over 1200 meters per second. So yeah, some good things to like about this tank. You can get hold down with it and obviously start putting the gun to work. Bad points on this is the gun accuracy. It's very, very troll. I just find it, you've got 0.42 accuracy and 2.5 second aim time, and yeah, you can just feel the derpiness, and that's why I've sort of got vert stabs and vents on to try and improve the accuracy where I can. So yeah, it's interesting one really. The penetration values, I mean, you've got 256 on the APCR, which goes down to 239 at 500 meters plus, and you got a 13.7 second reload. And I mean, reload's okay, it's manageable. Obviously we got it down with sort of using the using our perks that we've got. But yeah, I don't know. The gun for me just feels very derpy. But overall, like I say, the tank isn't that bad in my eyes. It was better than what I expected. So anyway, onto the gameplay, and the first replay, we're on Sunset Coast. We actually teamed up with our good friend Fades, and Fades is actually running the Teeth Breaker, I believe. And yeah, we're mid-tier or bottom-tier matchup with tier 10s. And we haven't done too bad, to be fair. We've got 1 kill, we've got 2.3k damage with 433 assist. And I'm just poking a shot into that Object 277, who's thought he could sort of move in the middle, managed to catch him off guard. And yeah, we're just going to use this space here to just poke some shots in if anything sort of decides to poke. You see that Object 277 has come back for a little bit more, thinking he can maybe put a shot into us. We've now put him down to a 1 shot, so yeah, that 277 is going to have to be careful. He's looking to side scrape. Now we track him in place there. Possibly could have let him come out a little bit, but we tracked him in place, and Fades has luckily got round on the flank and put some shots into him, has now distracted him. I'm going to try and see, I was going to see if I could try and get a shot into that mouse. But now I'm going to see if I can take out the Object 277, and I managed to, and we don't take a shot in return as well, which is quite good. So we picked up our second kill, we're up to 3.4k damage. Now we see this mouse that is just kind of over peaking. He's taking a lot of damage for that. And I was hoping he was just sort of going to keep poking this mid-ridge, and then I could get some shots in on the side. I'm going to sort of try and see if I can sneak around here and get a shot. And unfortunately, we just track the mouse and the mouse returns a shot into us. But tracking him in place means our friendly team can get some shots in. It seems to be distracted by something. I loaded the heat. I was trying to sort of go through the upper plate there. But that wasn't going to penetrate in a million years. Must note that this tank has 310 millimeters of penetration on its heat, and in terms of the penetration values, I'm not gonna lie, it's very hit and miss. I mean, look, 310 heat at tier 9 isn't too bad, I guess, but yeah, the APCL rounds obviously can be a bit of a struggle when you're sort of coming up against heavy tanks. I just don't know what it is with this tank, but I just find there's a lot of shots that just don't penetrate. I don't know, the penetration just feels poor to me, if I'm honest. It doesn't feel like great, and you do have to take your time to aim those shots. Now, providing you hold down, that's fine. You can kind of get away with that, because obviously you can take the time, you can bounce a few shots. Unless obviously you're coming up against anything that can overmatch a turret, or like the Avri that can just fire HE and not have to worry about armor. But yeah, there's just times where it just feels lacking a little bit. But yeah, overall the tank isn't too bad, to be fair. I think it's pretty well balanced, if I'm honest. It's certainly not overpowered. But yeah, it's okay. So Fades has just taken out that Cobra that was focused on firing some shots into us. Did manage to get a few shots in, but didn't penetrate, so most of them was just HE splash. Now, looks as though we're going to cap out here, which is a shame, because we've actually we've had a pretty alright game, to be fair. We've picked up 3 kills, we've picked up 4.3k damage, and yeah, unfortunately there was 3 tanks left, which I'm pretty confident we could have taken out, and yeah, we could have even brought this game to maybe an ace replay rather than a first. But we come top of the board there, and Fades comes in second place, done a pretty good job of backing us up there. So yeah, 4.3k with 700 assists, only picks up the first class there, but it wasn't too bad a game considering we were mid-tier. So yeah, we done okay, to be fair, but just a shame we capped out. I'd say could have got a little bit more out of that game. Anyway, we move on to the second replay now, where we're actually playing solo and we are on Live Oaks. So Live Oaks, for me, a pretty decent map in terms of, well, for this tank, I think, you know, you've got some options. Now, the only option really I'm going to go with is going down the railway track, because, like I say, this is where the nice big juicy ridge lines are, where we can get hold down. There is artillery in the game, so we do have to be careful with that. We also have to be careful of poles that are sticking out, because we tend to just drive into them for no reason whatsoever. We were just, for some reason, just a little bit focused on our artillery and why he was pushing up quite aggressively. I mean, to be fair, you could probably sit in one of these dips, not too much of a problem. I just would have expected him to be a little bit further back. Maybe he can't get range, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to sort of press on, and we're pressing on pretty aggressive here. Mainly because I know we're sort of hold out. I think we are top tier in this matchup, I think, if I remember rightly. So again, probably why I'm being a little bit more aggressive than usual, because I know I can sort of you know, get hold down and play his tank effectively, top tier, you know, not having to worry about average or anything like that. But we're going to move up. I would try getting a shot in a light tank, but that was way off. Don't even know why we sort of stopped to try, but you know, you miss the shots you don't take. So but this E75 has decided to just get completely ballsy, and yeah, didn't realise we were there and just sort of drove right into a world of pain there. Tried getting a shot into us, but luckily we angled well enough to bounce the shot off the side. The E75 is getting absolutely punished from all angles. That really wasn't the right play, and then artillery manages to take him out. So picked up a nice bit of early damage there from an E75 playing carelessly, which suits me fine. We'll take that. Now I'm going to poke this left-hand ridge and try and see if I can sneak some shots into the side of these tanks. So say you use the 8 degrees of gun depression I've got, snap a shot into the SU-130 there. Again, I'm not entirely sure why the SU-130 is playing this position. That's a little bit too aggressive, but that's fine. You know, if they want to give me their hit points, then I'm not going to say no. Artillery tries getting a shot into us, but luckily just falls short and doesn't hit us. Now our team is starting to push in, and we can push this Conqueror quite comfortably, knowing that our team are advancing as well. And this Conqueror is distracted by our friendly heavy tanks, so we're just going to get some shots in while he is distracted. Now there's quite a few enemies ahead. So realistically we need to sort of focus this Conqueror out and get rid of the Conqueror before we proceed, which we managed to do. Now this King Dragon, what is it with YOLOing players in this game? Honestly, King Dragon decides he's just going to go for it. Yeah, he's got plenty of armor, he'll bounce shots, no problem. Wrong. King Dragon actually gets taken out for our second killer. Again, if they want to give me the hit points, feel free. I don't mind a bit of charity. So we're going to push in and try and see if we can get some more shots on these tanks ahead of us. Medium tank has decided to pull back, so now is sort of left this T-32 who is actually playing hold down. I'm not going to penetrate that T-32's turret. There's actually two T-32s. One T-32 is on a one-shot who we were trying to get the kill shot into, but unfortunately we just didn't aim that shot properly and we ended up hitting his track. We rammed into the T-32, tried seeing if we could finish off the T-32 that was next to him. T-32 gets taken out onto our right. So now we are just going to focus on this T-32 that seems to be distracted by the tank next to him, giving us the side of his turret, so I'm just going to poke straight through that rather than... I could probably penetrate his upper plate, but I didn't really want to run the risk. Now he was sort of driving towards me and turning his turret. I decided, as we were backing up, shoot directly into his upper plate, knowing that will definitely pen because of the angles. You know, his upper plate becomes flat to us. Easy to pen, basically. So the game is pretty much running away from us now. I'm confident this is going to be a win. We're against 4 tanks now. We've got 10 tanks overall. It's a pretty foregone conclusion. Just trying to see if we can actually get any more damage and maybe even sort of one more kill potentially. Tried snapping a shot into that Ragnarok that has just backed down. Now we're in a little bit of an issue because we're actually in a bit of a crossfire between a Jagdtiger 88 who has very good DPM and a Ragnarok which has a pretty it's got good clip potential basically. We do take one shot off of the Rag, I think. We do get a shot in return, taking some shots off the Jagdtiger, but the Jagdtiger gets taken out. Now it's just left is this Ragnarok. Can I squeeze any more damage out of this game before it ends? Unfortunately we can't, but we do pick up a respectable amount of damage there. And we end up winning the game. So we come top of the board again with 5.8k damage, 3 kills, 287 assists, 2000 block there. Again, shows sort of how good this tank is, blocking when it's hull down. Picking up the first class and the high caliber medal. And yeah, ending a decent game there. And moving on to the third and final replay. So there we go. Simultaneously back on Live Oaks, and I'm pretty sure we're in the same spawn as well. So yeah, the only difference being is this is actually a tier 10 matchup, and we are going to move over. This is actually assault mode as well. We're actually attacking on the we're on the attacking side here. So again, I'm going to play the railway tracks because, as you saw in the last video, it will replay, should I say, it completely worked. So I'm going to make the same play basically, get hold down and just see what shots I can get off there. So it looks like the majority of our team have fought exactly the same thing in rushing this flank or pushing this flank, which isn't too bad a thing. I mean, look, the red team have got to defend. They don't need to attack necessarily. But obviously we need to be careful, because if they do take the town, they can come in behind, and that then leaves us vulnerable to being pincered in the rear. So need to bear that in mind. But at this moment in the game, looking at the map, we can see there's about 3 or 4 tanks ahead of us, and there's nothing yet lit up in the town. So that says to me that the majority of them are either going to be making their way to the town, or they're going to be camping on that ridge. You know, that usual ridge that's just in front. There you go, you can see they've just been lit up in the E2, D2 area. So we've come to this ridge now. We've found a ridge that we can kind of play a little bit hold down, and we're just going to try and see if we can get some shots into anything. I'm being cautious. I'm not keeping the tank up for very long, because obviously I feel like I'm a little bit more exposed than what I should be. Yeah, I'm not quite hold down properly, if that makes sense. And obviously being sort of in the tier 10 lobby, I don't want to get hit by any tier 10s early and start taking damage unnecessarily. So again, I'm just playing a patient game. I'm just sort of bobbing up and down, trying to squeeze some shots into the side of C100's turret using heat, but for some reason I think it might just be on an angle where it's bouncing, so unfortunately we're just not able to squeeze those shots in. Part of me still kind of felt like they would have penned if it was something else. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but he is angled, so obviously there is a higher chance of the 100 bouncing, but I feel like I've taken shots before in other tanks and they penned, so yeah. Gonna try and line up a shot on the Conqueror's turret there, because we know we can go through that, and there's someone firing HE, which isn't a problem, I guess. Kind of gives us a little bit of information. I think it might be the E5 that is firing HE. But either way, we didn't take much damage there, just splash damage. Trying to see if we can line up a shot on the E100 again, but unfortunately the turret is still just slightly angled enough to deflect the shot. But now we've just noticed behind us we've got an Avri and an E4, which is not a very pleasant surprise there. We snap a shot into the Avri. We take a shot from the Avri as well. Now I'm going to focus on the E4, which seems to sort of overextended and is getting sort of hit quite a bit by our team. But again, I don't want to get hit by the Avri or the E4, because you know they'll take obviously a fair bit of chunk. The Avri is just fired, so we're going to sneak a shot into the Avri. But just as we do that, the E4 pokes out, but luckily the E4 was distracted by something else, so we don't actually take a shot from the E4. I wanted to try and get a shot into the Avri as much as possible. Felt like the Avri was still going to be on reload, so I decided to take the gamble, poke the shot in, and luckily the Object 430 next to us manages to take out the Avri. Now we can see the light tank, we're just keeping an eye. We tried snapping a shot into that batch at 25. But unfortunately he gets out. The gun just kind of derps, I guess, and doesn't hit its target. I'm going to see if we can squeeze a shot into the EBR, but unfortunately we don't manage to connect that. Now I've decided I'm going to turn around and focus in front, although I'm getting targeted by something, so I didn't want to push up first just in case it was an enemy tank behind us that might have been targeting us, in which case we could have got shot in the behind. I want to push up now and try and support our friendly tank. So see this waffle that is a 2-shot to us. Then this standard B just comes over and decides to just give us his side. So we're going to shut down the standard B before he decides to YOLO in on our Object 430. But yeah, I want to support the tanks that are down here, because I feel like we need to push one side as quickly as possible. So our rear is being covered by our friendly tanks behind us, so now we just need to kind of push aside and get this side won, so that we can perhaps push round onto their base. And the scores are pretty much getting even now. We managed to take out the VZ there, and this game has now sort of turned turtle a little bit, and it's now 7-5. There's an E75 to our left, but there's also this medium tank that is running through the middle. I was thinking about poking, but I didn't want to overextend because obviously E75 is to our left. We've now got artillery looking at us, which is pretty annoying. It's just going to back up and weave a little bit more, making it difficult for artillery. Does manage to take a little bit of splash damage off us, but it's not a significant amount, so nothing to really worry about. The E75 was getting shots into him, which meant we picked up the assist for that because we're sort of closest to him. So we picked up another bit of assist for that, which is nice, actually bringing our assist to about 2,000, which is decent. E75 gets taken out by our object 40, and now we just need to play patient because I know there is a grill and a Tyran in a platoon. Both those tanks will take me out if they catch me out in the open, so I can't exactly go for a jolly to try and find either one of those tanks or the leopard, because all three of those will outspot me. There is a chance I could catch out the artillery, but more than likely the artillery, as soon as I spot the artillery will spot me. I'll get shot either way. So I kind of need my team to help me out a little bit, and I've got a full health Progetto, which is decent. If I'm looking at anybody, I'm looking at Progetto to, you know, maybe make the push and try and spot up because it's got the hit point advantage. You know, the grill and Tyran between them won't be able to take out that Progetto with each of their shots. They'll take obviously a significant amount of health, you know, well over half, but they won't kill them as such. So I'm trying to sort of ping my team to encourage them to spot, but then the grill gets spotted, and unfortunately as I poke, the dead carcass in the way is just obscuring our shot on the grill. We could, if that carcass wasn't there, we could probably have poked out and had a clear shot. Unfortunately the artillery gets into cover just before we reloaded, sod's law, so we're not able to get a shot into the artillery, and we're spotted here and we need to be careful. I'm lit up, which isn't great, it's not ideal, and I need to take my time, and I'm just using this dead wreck as a bit of cover, just playing patiently, and I'm just gonna wait and see what our team does. You know, someone needs to do something. You notice on the clock now we're actually getting close to the end of the game. Now the problem with assault is obviously if you're attacking, you need to kill or cap. You can kill all or cap. It's the only way you're going to win assault variant. If you don't, then the enemy team will automatically win. So I'm kind of thinking about that now. I'm bearing that in mind. Now luckily this leopard gets spotted. We managed to get a shot in, but we're trying to go backwards and forwards to avoid artillery. I think we take a shot there, or we bounce the shot off the grill or the Tyran. The grill gets spotted up, but we're not in a position where we can get a shot onto the grill. There's something covering him, but it looks like he's doing a running out. Now I'm not sure where the Tyran is. I don't think the Tyran has actually been lit yet, but I'm going to take this opportunity to cross because I know the grill's running. That's fine. If I get shot by the Tyran, obviously I'll be a one hit for both the grill and the Tyran. Now I see the grill here and I snap the shot, but unfortunately the shot doesn't connect. The grill is running, so I know I'm not going to get shot by the grill. See the Tyran, who seems to be facing the other way, so I've got this window of opportunity now to come in and try and take out the artillery. We see the artillery there, we get a nice high roll, 506. Now I'm going to go for the ram here to just take a little bit of damage off, really. The 60 TP manages to take out the artillery, and we've only got 8 seconds left, and these two tanks are still alive, and it doesn't look like we're going to win the game. Tyran gets taken out by the Avri, but unfortunately it's too late, and yeah, we don't manage to get the kill on that. Now if our team had perhaps moved a little bit earlier rather than playing too passive, things could have been different. We may have been able to clean that game up a little bit quicker, but unfortunately the enemy team wins. We get 4.5k damage, 2.1k, picking up the first class, only the 1 kill. I do wonder if maybe we had a little bit more damage in that game, maybe another kill, who knows. Winning the game we could have picked up the ace, but unfortunately we didn't. And yeah, is what it is. But that is the Felice, guys. Sorry, the review is a bit later than possibly what I would have liked, but I wanted to earn a tank rather than, I don't have surplus amounts of money where I can just go and buy it straight, the first day it's out. So yeah, I had to earn it like everyone else. But yeah, that's my review on the Felice. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe, because it does help the channel. And drop a comment if you want. I'm sure many of you have probably just got your Felice now, or working towards it or close to it. Let me know what you think of it and how you find it. And yeah, as always, guys, I will catch you next time.